There's a vacancy in Washington, and that man, if you're watching on NBCSN, wants to fill it. Rex Ryan, fired by the Jets, fired by the Bills, working at ESPN, wants back in, and he made it clear, appearing on ESPN earlier this week, of course I would take it. People are going to be lined up for this job. Now, I don't know that people who have viable options elsewhere are going to be lined up for the job. Chris, I think it's a given that this is the most dysfunctional team in the NFL. But when you aspire to get the job, you got to be able to kiss some butt. And he's already started the process of kissing butt by saying people are going to be lined up for the job.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked to hear him say this. I mean, yeah, okay. And there's only 32 of these jobs out there in the world. And even as dysfunctional as it might look in Washington right now, it is still the Washington Redskins. It's still, one of the more storied franchises in the history of the NFL. So that is going to be appealing. The other thing that's always appealing to coaches is there's nowhere to go but up factor. And that's one of the things that I think will appeal to coaches as far as the Washington Redskins conversation too. They've been bad, and only one playoff appearance in 6 years and all of those things with Jay Gruden, to where coaches are going to like that because the expectations are not going to be very high there.
Yeah, they're not going to be high, but it still feels like you're stepping into a situation that is eventually going to end badly for you, especially if Bruce Allen is still there.
Yeah.
It has been one disaster after another, one piece of evidence of dysfunction after another. And really, is there any other job in the NFL right now that if you were weighing that against the Washington coaching job, you would have a hard time deciding which one you would take? Any other?
No, well, you're just saying, is there any other one where I'd go, ooh, okay, I would take the – well, I mean, okay, the Cincinnati Bengals might be in that conversation to me a little bit, all right? I mean, they're in that convo right now, yes. But I would think, no, as it looks right now, those are probably towards the bottom of the list as far as appealing jobs out there to be a head coach.
Well, for now, Bill Callahan is the interim head coach in Washington, and there's a new sheriff in town. Isn't that a weird vibe that the guy who takes over for the guy who got fired comes in with this new attitude, and he's doing all these different things, and it makes you wonder how much he and the former coach may have been at odds about how they should handle the team, because right out of the gates, Bill Callahan, no music is on after stretching. They brought in officials to issue penalties when guys are sloppy in practice. And after practice, wind sprint time to ensure that the players are better conditioned, which implies that Bill Callahan believed that the players weren't in good enough condition and that maybe that's something that he and Jay Gruden were at loggerheads over.
Well, all the assistant coaches sit there and they go, ooh, I would do this if I was in control. I mean, there's even coaches probably in New England who are saying that, oh, I might have do it this way, but, whatever it may be. And, here's a chance Bill Callahan, he's taking over and he's changing a few things that he obviously thought needed to be changed. Now, the conditioning thing, I really do find an interesting aspect, because this is something I think you've heard me say it before, Mike, that in the NFL, teams do not condition as the season goes. It just becomes, the season's long, it's a grind, you guys are in football shape. But the one team that does condition throughout the year, you want to guess who that is?
Jacksonville Jaguars?
No, who, you jerk. The New England Patriots. You're such a jerk.
Thanks,
you can't even play along, okay?
Stats told me New England in the air. Thanks, Stats.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, yes, I mean, because they believe in 4 quarters of football and continuing to try to play and mentally execute when you're tired and things like that. They're very real aspects of football in the NFL. And I think because they're professionals and you got some older men, that some teams do not kind of hold their players to that same accountability that New England does, or Bill Callahan is about to here in Washington.
It is weird, though, when you think about it. When you're a head coach and you have a staff of assistants, and this is why so many coaches hire their kids, hire their friends. They're looking for people they can trust, because it can quite easily become a nest of vipers where you have a bunch of guys who are waiting for the opportunity to plunge a knife into your back and take your job the instant they have an opening. And how do you operate with sufficient trust when you're in that? And it's so awkward. Those last few weeks when it's coming, Think about what's going on in Atlanta right now, where it feels like the axe is going to fall on Dan Quinn, and you've got Raheem Morris and Mike Mularkey and Dirk Cutter all jockeying for position, and Quinn knows, if I go, if Arthur Blank wakes up on Monday morning and says hit the road, it's going to be one of these guys. And what are they thinking? And what are they doing to actually help me keep this job at this point? Or are they thinking about, hey, maybe I'm going to end up being the coach of the Falcons? It's just a strange dynamic, but it plays out every year.
It does. It's strange dynamic, certainly. I think and it's natural human, emotions. So, okay, I want to be the guy next. I want to be the head coach, whatever it is. But I think what keeps everything in check is, if these coaches are too quick to, stick the knife in the back of the head coach or those kind of people, they'll get a reputation in a hurry for not being a loyal soldier within a building, and they'll have a hard time ever getting a job anywhere else in the NFL. And that's what keeps people in check more than not.
That's one of the issues between Jim Tom Sula and your buddy Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh thinks Tom Sula did it to him in San Francisco. Well, you probably gave Tom Sula the knife.
Jim's already he lost 9 knives and 20 other backs already. So.
What percentage chance do you give Rex Ryan of becoming the next coach in Washington?
A low percentage chance.
Pick a number.
Okay, 10%. It's that
less.
Low. Yeah,
you're too high. He ain't getting the job.
You're right. He just would not be the guy that I would want to take over to kind of get things back in the right direction there in Washington. Rex Ryan's a little bit of a renegade himself, so I don't know if rebuilding and reculturing an organization, if that's even a word, is his cup of tea.
I thought as you said it, that doesn't really sound like a word, but just keep going and nobody may.
Reculturing. Put it in the dictionary.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.